Emma Carlson was 48 when her life took a turn she could never have imagined. A successful corporate lawyer in Stockholm and partner at a prestigious firm specializing in international contracts, Emma had built an impressive career over 2 decades of dedication. Her modern apartment in the Östermalm district, overlooking the harbor, reflected her professional achievements. But behind the floor-to-ceiling windows and minimalist Scandinavian design, there was an emptiness that success could not fill. Single for 6 years after a painful breakup with no children, Emma spent most of her evenings alone. Her days followed a monotonous pattern: wake up at 5:30 in the morning, review legal briefs, attend client meetings, eat takeout sushi at her desk or dine alone at upscale restaurants, and fall asleep reading case files or watching Nordic noir series. Weekends were even lonelier. Long stretches of silence interrupted only by the hum of traffic below and her own restless thoughts. It was during one of these solitary Friday nights in February 2023 that Emma decided to create a profile on an international dating app. "What do I have to lose?" she thought, pouring herself a glass of Chardonnay as she filled in the required fields. She uploaded recent photos, some from a legal conference in Brussels, others from a solo trip to the Norwegian fjords, and wrote a straightforward description. "Swedish lawyer seeks authentic connection. I appreciate honesty, meaningful conversations, and someone to build a future with." What Emma didn't know was that at that very moment, on the other side of the Mediterranean in Marrakesh, a 36-year-old man named Karim was scrolling through profiles with the calculated focus of a strategist. He wasn't looking for love. He was looking for targets. The message arrived 4 days later. "Hello, Emma. Your profile stood out to me. You seem like a woman of substance, not like those who are just looking for vacation romances. My name is Karim. I work as an architect here in Marrakesh, and I'm also searching for something genuine." Emma was immediately interested. Karim's profile photo showed a handsome man with warm brown eyes and an elegant smile, standing in front of what appeared to be a renovation project. The other photos showed seemingly authentic moments: him sketching building designs, sharing tea with an elderly woman labeled as his grandmother, volunteering at a local community center. There was a sincerity to the images that resonated deeply with her. "The photo with your grandmother is lovely," Emma replied. "I respect people who honor their elders. What's it like working as an architect in Morocco?" The response came swiftly, and so began an exchange of messages that would continue for the next several weeks. Karim told captivating stories about his restoration projects in the Medina, challenging clients, the satisfaction of preserving Morocco's architectural heritage. He described Marrakesh in vivid detail, the call to prayer echoing through the souks, the scent of mint tea and spices in the air, the way sunset painted the Atlas Mountains gold. But it was in his confessions about loneliness that Karim truly captured Emma. "Sometimes I finish a project and realize I have no one to celebrate with," he wrote one evening. "I create beautiful spaces for families, but I have no family of my own. Do you know that feeling?" Emma knew it intimately. "That's exactly how I feel," she replied. "My career is thriving. I have financial security, but when I return to my empty apartment at night, I realize that professional victories don't replace human connection." After 3 weeks of messaging, Karim suggested video calls. The first one took place on a Saturday evening, late afternoon in Marrakesh. Emma was anxious like a schoolgirl before a first date. When her laptop screen came to life and she saw Karim in real time, her breath caught. He was sitting in what appeared to be a modest but tastefully decorated office. He spoke English with a charming French-Moroccan accent, occasionally using Swedish phrases he had clearly learned specifically for her. "Hedge, Sotnose," he said with a gentle smile, and Emma's heart melted. The calls became routine. Karim always made time, no matter how demanding his work schedule. He introduced her virtually to his grandmother, a gracious Moroccan woman who waved at the camera and sent blessings. He showed her photos of the riad where he lived, simple but beautifully maintained. He shared humble aspirations, one day owning his own architectural firm, perhaps building affordable housing for struggling families. "You're unlike anyone I've met online," Karim said during one of their late-night conversations. "Most women just want exotic fantasies or Instagram photos, but you understand me, you see who I really am." I feel like we've been connected across lifetimes." Emma felt the same way. She began revealing things she had never told anyone. The loneliness of success, the shame of prioritizing career over relationships, the terror of aging without a partner. Karim listened with seemingly genuine compassion, offering exactly the right words at exactly the right moments. "It's not too late to find happiness," he assured her. "You deserve love. You deserve a man who appreciates your intelligence and your heart." After 7 weeks of intense connection, Emma made a decision that surprised even herself. "I want to meet you," she announced during a video call. "I'm coming to Marrakesh." Karim seemed taken aback, almost hesitant. "But it's such a long journey, so expensive." "I don't want you spending your money on me." "It's not spending, it's investing," Emma replied, already searching for flights on her phone. "Investing in us." The trip was planned for April 2023. Emma booked a luxury riad in the Medina and a direct flight from Stockholm. She told her colleagues she was taking a long overdue vacation. Not entirely false, though everyone knew the real reason was personal. Marrakesh airport was chaotic when Emma arrived, exhausted but exhilarated after 5 hours of travel. Karim had promised to meet her, and there he was in the arrivals hall, holding a bouquet of roses and wearing a traditional jalaba. He looked even more handsome in person. "Emma." He approached and embraced her warmly, and she felt that every hour of anticipation, every moment of doubt had been worth it. The first 4 days were enchanting. Karim showed her Marrakesh from perspectives tourists never experience. Artisan workshops in the old Medina where craftsmen knew him by name, hidden gardens away from the crowded Jima Elfna Square, family-run restaurants where the tagine was exquisite and authentic. He brought Emma to meet his grandmother, who served them traditional Moroccan tea and pastries in her modest home in the Kasbah. In the evenings, Karim would walk Emma back to her riad but always maintained appropriate boundaries. "I respect you too much to rush things," he explained. "In my culture, intimacy requires commitment. I hope you understand." Emma not only understood, she was moved by it. It confirmed everything she believed about him. Karim was different, honorable, genuine. On the 5th day, something shifted subtly. During lunch at a rooftop cafe, Karim was distracted, checking his phone repeatedly and appearing troubled. "Is something wrong?" Emma asked. He hesitated, rubbing his temples. "It's my grandmother. She needs medical treatment. Her diabetes is worsening. The clinic requires payment up front, but I just invested everything into a project that won't pay out for another month." "How much does she need?" Emma asked immediately. "No, I can't ask you for that." Karim shook his head firmly. "You've already done so much by coming all this way." "Karim, how much?" 20,000 dirhams. Around 1,800 euros. "I'll figure something out. Maybe I can borrow from a colleague." Emma was already reaching for her purse. "Don't be ridiculous. Let me help. We're together now, aren't we? Partners support each other." Karim's eyes glistened. "How can I ever repay such kindness? You are a blessing from Allah." He took the money and left urgently, promising to return within a few hours. Emma remained at the cafe, feeling virtuous. She was helping the man she loved and his family. Wasn't this what love meant? Wasn't this what real partnerships looked like? When Karim returned, he brought medical receipts and photos of his grandmother receiving treatment. He thanked Emma profusely, and the remaining days of the trip were even more emotionally charged. At the Stockholm airport, as they said goodbye, Karim held Emma tightly. "Come back to me soon," he pleaded, his voice breaking. "I cannot bear being apart from you." "I will," Emma promised. "Very soon." What Emma didn't know as she boarded her flight back to Stockholm was that Karim had 6 other women receiving similar messages from him, each convinced she was the only one. Each planning her next trip to rescue the man she loved. And this was just the beginning of an elaborate deception that would cost Emma much more than money. Emma's apartment had never felt so cold and lifeless. She dropped her luggage in the hallway and walked straight to the window, gazing at the harbor under the gray Scandinavian sky. Marrakesh was 4 time zones away, but it felt like she had left her soul there. Her phone buzzed. "I miss you already, my heart. The Riyadh feels empty without you. My grandmother keeps asking when you're returning." Emma smiled, the jet lag instantly forgotten. "Soon, my love. I just need to handle some matters at the firm first." At the office the next morning, her colleague and friend, Anna Bergstrom, noticed the transformation immediately. "You look different, glowing, I'd say. What happened in Morocco?" "I met someone." Emma couldn't hide her happiness. Anna's expression shifted to concern. "Emma, you know those tourist destinations are full of—" "It's not like that," Emma cut her off defensively. "Karim is an architect. He cares for his elderly grandmother. He's a man of principle and family values." Anna raised her hands in surrender, but the worry remained in her eyes. For weeks later, Emma was back on a plane to Marrakesh. This time, she would stay for 12 days. She had prepared a surprise, a vintage Cartier watch that had cost €3,500. Karim met her at the airport wearing a new leather jacket, sleek and expensive, different from the modest traditional clothing he had worn before. "Do you like it?" "I bought it thinking of you," he said, spinning around playfully. Emma felt a surge of desire and pride. On the 3rd day, during a candlelit dinner on a rooftop terrace overlooking the Koutoubia Mosque, Karim took Emma's hand with visible emotion. "Emma, I want to spend my life with you. Move to Morocco, or I'll come to Sweden, I don't care which. Just say you'll be mine forever." Tears filled her eyes. "Yes, absolutely yes." But then his expression darkened with worry. "Emma, there's something I must tell you before we make concrete plans." Emma's heart raced. "What is it?" "The Riyadh where my grandmother lives, the landlord is selling it. She'll be evicted within 3 weeks. I've tried to handle it myself, I didn't want to burden you, but—" His voice cracked. "How much would it cost to buy the property?" Emma asked without hesitation. "I cannot ask you for that. It's too much, 400,000 dirhams, roughly €36,000. Emma was already doing mental calculations. "I'll arrange the transfer tomorrow. Your grandmother won't lose her home." Karim embraced her fiercely. "How did I get so fortunate? I promise I'll repay you once we're married and I can establish my firm in Sweden." The 3rd trip came in June. Emma began noticing small inconsistencies. The grandmother's Riyadh she had helped purchase was never shown to her. Karim always had explanations. "It's undergoing renovations. My grandmother is visiting family in the mountains. That neighborhood isn't safe for foreigners right now." Additionally, Karim became less accessible. Calls were frequently cut short. "Emergency at the construction site, Habibti. I'll call you back," became a recurring phrase. One evening, while Karim was showering, Emma saw his phone vibrating on the bedside table. The screen illuminated with a message. "When are you coming to see me, my king? I'm counting the days." From a contact saved as Client Brussels. Emma's stomach dropped. With trembling hands, she picked up the phone. There were additional messages from the same number. In French, the money arrived. "Thank you, mon amour. I cannot wait to be in your arms again." Karim stirred in the bathroom. Emma quickly replaced the phone, her heart pounding violently. She spent the rest of the night awake, 1,000 scenarios racing through her mind. At breakfast, Emma attempted to approach the subject carefully. "Karim, who is Client Brussels on your phone?" He didn't flinch. "Oh, that's a Belgian investor for one of my projects. Why do you ask?" "He calls you my king and mon amour." Karim laughed, touching Emma's hand reassuringly. Darling, it's just how French-speaking people communicate, very affectionate, even in business. It's cultural, nothing romantic. He seemed so genuine, so hurt by her suspicion. Emma wanted to believe him. She needed to believe him. I saw he mentioned money arriving. Yes, he finally paid the deposit for the restoration project. I've been waiting months. Look. He showed her architectural contracts that appeared legitimate. Emma felt ashamed for doubting him. I'm sorry. You're anxious about the distance. Karim kissed her forehead. It's understandable, but soon we'll be together permanently in Sweden. We just need the residence permit approved. September brought the fourth trip, this time for bureaucratic reasons. Emma had hired an immigration attorney to expedite Karim's partnership visa to Sweden. At the Swedish embassy in Rabat, they presented comprehensive documentation, photographs together, chat histories, notarized declarations of their relationship. The consular officer, a stern Swedish woman named Fru Lindqvist, examined everything with a critical eye. Ms. Carlson, how long have you known Mr. El Mansouri in person? 6 months of relationship, 4 in-person visits, Emma replied. And financially, have you provided support? Emma hesitated. I've helped with some family expenses, that's all. Approximately how much? Perhaps 50,000 euros in total. Fru Lindqvist's gaze sharpened. Ms. Carlson, I must warn you that residence permit fraud is extremely common. I strongly advise caution. Karim, who understood more Swedish than he typically admitted, looked visibly offended. I love Emma. This isn't about money. Fru Lindqvist remained professional. The process will take 4 to 8 months. We will investigate thoroughly. Back at the Riad, Karim was devastated. She treated me like a criminal, as if I couldn't genuinely love you. She's just doing her job, Emma tried to console him. Perhaps she's right, Karim said bitterly. Perhaps I don't deserve you. I come from a modest background. I'm not like sophisticated Swedish men. Stop that. Emma held him. You're everything I want. We'll prove to them that our love is real. In the following weeks, still in Morocco, the financial requests intensified. The grandmother's medical bills increased, Euro 3,000. His nephew needed emergency dental surgery, Euro 2,800. The architectural office required renovations to impress visa investigators, Euro 6,500. Emma paid for everything, even with Anna's voice echoing in her mind, You're being exploited. On the final day of that fourth trip, Karim let something disturbing slip. They were having dinner when his phone rang. He glanced at the screen and quickly declined the call, visibly agitated. Who was that? Emma asked. Wrong number. But the phone rang again, and again he refused to answer. The third time, Emma took the phone from his hand and answered. Karim, Habibi, why aren't you answering? My flight lands tomorrow. I can't wait to. The female voice with an American accent stopped abruptly when she realized it wasn't Karim who had answered. The silence that followed was suffocating. Karim grabbed the phone from Emma, ended the call, and began protesting frantically. It's my ex-girlfriend. She's obsessed with me. She refuses to accept that we're finished. Please, Emma, you must believe me. But something inside Emma had shattered. For the first time, doubt overpowered her desperate need to believe. Back in Stockholm, Emma couldn't sleep. The woman's voice on the phone haunted her. My flight lands tomorrow. That wasn't the behavior of an obsessive ex-girlfriend. It was intimacy, anticipation, coordination. 5 days after her return, Emma sat in the office of a private investigator in Södermalm. The woman across from her, Ingrid Holmström, was in her late 50s with sharp gray eyes and the weary expression of someone who has witnessed too much human deception. I need you to investigate someone in Morocco, Emma said, sliding a folder with photographs of Karim across the desk. Holmstrom flipped through the materials without emotion. "Another one," she murmured. "Another romance scam from Morocco," Holmstrom murmured, not looking up from the photos. "It's not a scam," Emma protested weakly, even as doubt gnawed at her. "He's my partner." "Of course," Holmstrom sighed. "You're the fourth Swedish client this month with an identical story. I have a contact in Marrakesh, a former police inspector. He can access information that tourists would never see. It will cost 25,000 kronor up front." Emma didn't even negotiate. She signed the contract immediately. October arrived, and surprisingly, it was Karim who insisted on the fifth visit. "I need you here, my soul. There are complications with my residency documents. The immigration consultant requires your signature in person." Emma boarded the plane, but this time she carried a second phone provided by Holmstrom with a discreet recording application. She had also coordinated signals with the detective's Moroccan contact, a man named Rashid, who would shadow them from a distance. At the Marrakesh airport, Karim seemed different, gaunt, with pronounced shadows under his eyes. He was visibly on edge. The embrace was brief, perfunctory. "Let's go directly to the consultant's office," he said, avoiding eye contact. The office was a cramped room in a deteriorating building in the industrial district. The consultant was an overweight middle-aged man who spoke minimal English and no Swedish. He presented documents that Emma, with her legal expertise, immediately recognized as fraudulent. "These documents have no legal validity," Emma said icily. "Forged embassy seal, incorrect formatting, falsified signatures." Karim went white. The fake consultant began muttering apologies in Arabic. "Enough deception." Emma stood abruptly. "I want the truth. Now." Karim followed her into the street, frantic. "Emma, wait. I can explain everything." "Then explain. Who was that woman on the phone? Why this counterfeit consultant? How much of what you've told me is actually true?" He collapsed right there on the narrow Medina street under the harsh Moroccan sun. "I had gambling debts. Dangerous people. I needed cash urgently. At first, you were just another target, but then I genuinely fell in love." "Another target?" Emma's blood turned to ice. "How many another targets are there?" Karim didn't answer. He just wept. Emma's phone vibrated. Message from Holmstrom. "Check his apartment. Real address attached. Go immediately." Rashid, the Moroccan investigator, waited for Emma on a corner 4 blocks from Karim's supposedly modest riad. In reality, the address led to an upscale apartment complex in Gelais. Nothing humble about it. "He's not here now. He followed you." "We have perhaps 15 minutes, Rashid said in French-accented English. Rashid had bribed the building concierge. They ascended to the 3rd floor. Karim's apartment was spacious, elegantly furnished with modern appliances, nothing like the modest spaces he had always shown her in photos. But what truly devastated Emma was what they discovered in the bedroom office. An entire wall covered with photographs. 7 different women, each with her own dedicated section. Emma recognized herself in one of them. Dozens of photos of her, detailed notes about her preferences, transcripts of conversations, copies of bank transfers. Beside her section, a British woman in her 40s. Note: Sarah, 46, Manchester, divorced teacher, responds well to vulnerability. £38,000 transferred so far. Another woman, Canadian. Michelle, 52, Toronto, recent widow, emotionally fragile. 71,000 Canadian dollars to date. A French woman. Isabel, 49, Lyon, pharmaceutical executive. Enjoys being needed. 44,000 euros. An American. Jennifer, 50, California, tech entrepreneur. Feminist but lonely. 82,000 US dollars. A German woman. Petra, 54, Munich, banker seeking adventure. 67,000 euros. And a Dutch woman. Marie Eek, 47, Amsterdam, artist, romantic idealist. 39,000 euros. Rashid quickly photographed everything. This is evidence. A large, highly organized operation. Emma felt bile rising in her throat. She picked up a leather-bound planner from the desk. It was an operations journal. Dates, amounts, manipulation strategies for each woman. A recent entry read, Emma growing suspicious. Escalate emotional intensity. Perhaps fake health crisis next month or threat from loan sharks. There were also multiple passports in different names, documents from fictitious businesses, forged property deeds. We must leave. He'll return soon, Rashid warned urgently. Emma didn't return to her riad. She went straight to a hotel bar, ordered vodka, and called Anna in Stockholm. You were right, she admitted, her voice shaking. About everything. How much did you lose? Anna asked gently. Emma calculated mentally. 140,000 euros, possibly more. I didn't track everything precisely. Come home now. Today. I can't. I need to confront him with the evidence. I need to hear it from his own mouth. At 10 o'clock that evening, Emma stood at the door of Karim's real apartment. She rang the bell insistently. He opened the door, still wearing the same clothes from earlier, shocked and terrified to see her there. How did you find this address? He stammered. May I come in, or would you prefer we discuss your 7 fiancés in the hallway where your neighbors can overhear? He stepped back, allowing her entry. His confidence had completely evaporated. He was a different person, calculated, cornered, defensive. 7, Emma repeated, throwing the photographs Rashid had taken onto the glass coffee table. 7 women simultaneously, all believing they were special, unique, your salvation. Karim looked at the photographs, and something transformed in his expression. The mask of sincerity dissolved. What remained was cold indifference. So what? He said, lighting a cigarette. Emma had never seen him smoke before. You Western women come to Morocco seeking exotic romance, a noble other to rescue. You want to purchase a fantasy. I simply provide what you're willing to pay for. You lied about everything. Your work, your sick grandmother, your feelings. My grandmother died 7 years ago, he said without emotion. This is my work. It's a profession like any other. You pay to feel desired, to have someone attractive and attentive, for the illusion of being loved. I deliver the service. This is criminal, fraud, deception under false pretenses. Karim shrugged dismissively. Prove it. All the money was given voluntarily. All the conversations were initiated by you. Technically, I haven't violated any Moroccan law. The residency visa was immigration fraud. That was never finalized. No crime was completed. He exhaled smoke in her direction. You can go to the police, but they'll laugh at you. Just another naive foreign woman in love. Tale as old as time. Emma felt utterly defeated. Why? Why me? Your dating profile screamed loneliness and wealth. You were the ideal mark. And you were, until you started asking inconvenient questions. He extinguished his cigarette. Now leave my apartment and be grateful I didn't take everything. I could have drained your accounts completely if I'd wanted. Emma was at the door when she noticed a framed photograph on the console table. Karim with a striking Moroccan woman, embracing, smiling authentically. Who is that? My wife, he said casually. Real wife. Married for 9 years. This, he gestured around the apartment, is our family enterprise. She manages logistics. I handle field operations. The final revelation struck Emma like a physical blow. She wasn't just the victim of a desperate individual. She was part of an organized criminal syndicate with multiple simultaneous victims, a business infrastructure. How many? How many women have been through this scheme? Karim smiled cruelly. You were number 51. My wife is approaching number 70. We have annual performance targets. Emma staggered into the street. She vomited into a decorative planter. Rashid emerged from the shadows, steadying her. Did you get the recording? Asked the investigator. Emma nodded toward her phone in her trembling hand. Everything. Every single word. Good. Now we go to the Brigade Touristique. They take fraud against foreigners seriously. It damages tourism revenue. The other women need to know, Emma added, the full reality crystallizing. Sarah, Michelle, Isabel, Jennifer, Petra, Marique, they all still believe the lie. The Brigade Touristique de Marrakech operated from a government building near the train station. Capitaine Ben Ali, a stern woman with penetrating dark eyes, listened to the recording 3 times, taking exhaustive notes. This is more sophisticated than most operations we encounter, she said in perfect French. Usually these are individuals. This is structured crime. Can you arrest them? Emma asked. With this evidence? Absolutely. But I must warn you, recovery of funds is nearly impossible. The money has been dispersed, laundered, spent. I don't care about the money anymore, Emma said, surprised to discover she meant it. I care about stopping them from destroying more lives. Capitaine Ben Ali made several phone calls in rapid Arabic. Within an hour, a team was dispatched to Karim's apartment. The raid happened at dawn. Emma was there, at Capitaine Ben Ali's invitation, watching from an unmarked vehicle across the street. They arrested Karim and his wife, Amina, simultaneously. The apartment was thoroughly searched. Police discovered hard drives containing information on over 120 victims across 15 countries, dating back 6 years. The financial records were staggering. The couple had accumulated approximately 4.8 million euros through their operation. They targeted successful, lonely professionals, Capitaine Ben Ali explained to Emma. People with resources but emotional vulnerability. They studied psychology, manipulation techniques. Very sophisticated predators. With police assistance, Emma began the painful process of contacting the other current victims. Sarah in Manchester answered on the 3rd ring. Hello. Sarah, you don't know me, but my name is Emma Carlson. I need to tell you something about Karim El Mansouri. The silence that followed was heavy with dread. How do you know Karim? Because I was engaged to him too. And I've just discovered there are 7 of us. Sarah's sob was immediate and raw. No. No, you're lying. You're a jealous ex-girlfriend or... I'm in Marrakech right now. The police have just arrested him. I have photographs, evidence, recordings. Sarah, I'm so sorry, but you need to know the truth. The conversations with Michelle, Isabel, Jennifer, Petra, and Marique followed similar devastating patterns. Denial, then anger, then grief. Some hung up on her. Others cried for hours. One threatened legal action against Emma herself for slandering Karim. But within 3 days, as the Moroccan press began reporting the arrests and the scale of the operation, the reality became undeniable. Emma remained in Marrakech for 2 weeks, working with authorities, giving testimony, helping build the prosecution case. She also created a private online support group for Karim and Amina's victims. 37 women eventually joined the group. 37 women from 19 countries, ranging in age from 38 to 61. All successful professionals. All lonely. All manipulated with precision. The group became Emma's lifeline. They shared their stories, their shame, their anger, their gradual healing. They reminded each other that being vulnerable doesn't equal being foolish, that seeking love doesn't make you deserving of exploitation. Karim and Amina were eventually convicted of organized fraud, money laundering, and immigration document forgery. They received 8 and 6 years in prison, respectively. Emma recovered approximately €12,000 through asset seizures, less than 10% of what she had lost. Back in Stockholm, Emma sat in her apartment watching snow fall over the harbor. Anna was there, sharing wine and silence. "Do you regret it?" Anna asked finally. "All of it." Emma considered the question carefully. "I regret the money. I regret the time. I regret the humiliation." She paused. "But I don't regret wanting love. I refuse to let him take that from me." Her phone buzzed with a notification from the support group. Michelle from Toronto had posted a photo of herself on a real date with a real person she'd met through friends. The comments were celebratory, encouraging, warm. "We're survivors," Emma typed. "And we're still here. Still hoping. Still human." She posted it and looked out at the snow, at the city she'd once found so lonely but now saw with different eyes. The desire for connection hadn't made her foolish. The crime wasn't in wanting love. The crime was his alone. And she refused to carry his guilt. "Ms. Carlson, this is far more extensive than we initially understood," Captain Ben Ali said in flawless English. "We already have 9 similar complaints on file. No one had the resolve to pursue them. Shame, fear of public exposure." Rashid spread the photographs of the apartment across the table. "Clear criminal enterprise. Wife manages operations. Husband executes in the field. We need to arrest both of them." She mentioned 70 victims, Emma interjected, fury replacing humiliation. "We need to warn them." Ben Ali hesitated. "Legally complicated. They're dispersed globally, different jurisdictions." "Then I'll locate them." Emma slammed her palm on the desk. "I have names, countries. I'll hire investigators in each location. They deserve to know the truth." Over the next 4 days, Emma transformed her Riyadh room into an operations center. Holmstrom from Stockholm coordinated international investigators. The first contact was Sarah, the British teacher from Manchester. The call was brutal. "I don't know who you are, but Karim warned me about vindictive women trying to slander him," Sarah shouted. "Unstable ex-girlfriend. He showed me legal documents about your harassment." "Sarah, he has 7 women simultaneously. You've transferred £38,000 for an elaborate fraud. You're delusional." Click. The line went dead. Michelle, the Canadian widow, reacted differently. There was prolonged silence after Emma explained everything. Then, her voice fracturing, she said, "I suspected deep down. I suspected. But it was preferable to the emptiness." Isabel, the French executive, went into complete denial. "Impossible. I've known Karim for 18 months. I'm relocating to Marrakesh next quarter." "Review the photographs I've emailed you," Emma insisted. "The wall in his apartment. You're there. We're all there." Minutes later, Isabel called back, weeping uncontrollably. Jennifer, the Californian entrepreneur, reacted with rage. "That manipulative bastard. I'm going to annihilate him. I'll hire attorneys, private investigators, Or we can do it collectively," Emma interrupted. "Legally. Together we have a formidable case." Petra, the German banker, was pragmatic. "How much did I lose in euros?" €67,000. Documented as fraud for tax purposes. Let's proceed efficiently. Marieke, the Dutch artist, simply whispered, "I knew I was too old for fairy tales." 12 days later, 5 women sat in a private dining room of a discreet hotel in Marrakesh. Emma, Michelle, Isabel, Jennifer, and Petra. Marieke participated via video call. Sarah refused to attend, still in denial. "Ladies," Emma began. "Collectively, we lost more than 370,000 euros. But this isn't about money. It's about justice." Jennifer, sharp-featured and intense, struck the table. "Screw justice. I want retribution." "Retribution lands us in prison," Michelle, gaunt and exhausted, said quietly. "My husband died 3 years ago. Karim, he filled the absence. I despise admitting it, but I need resolution." Isabel lit a cigarette with shaking hands. "My colleagues cannot discover this. In Lyon, I'll become a corporate laughingstock." "That's why we're proceeding discreetly," Emma said, opening her laptop. "Capitaine Ben Ali will construct a criminal case. We simply need to provide testimony." Petra, on the screen, adjusted her reading glasses. "And civilly? Asset recovery?" "Unlikely," Emma admitted. "The funds have been laundered, dispersed, invested. But their arrests will establish precedent." The Moroccan police established a sting operation. Karim and his wife Amina would be arrested in the act during a rendezvous with a new victim, a newly arrived Belgian woman who was actually an undercover officer. Emma observed from an unmarked surveillance vehicle parked 50 meters from the cafe. Hidden cameras transmitted everything live. Karim arrived punctually, dressed in a tailored suit with his rehearsed smile. He greeted the fake tourist with a warm embrace. "He's skilled," Michelle murmured, sitting beside Emma. "Exactly how he was with me." In the audio feed, Karim began his familiar script. Humble origins, ailing grandmother, aspirations for a better future. The undercover officer gave the signal. Doors burst open. 8 agents flooded the cafe. Karim attempted to flee through the kitchen but was restrained. He shouted in Arabic, then French, "I've done nothing. She gave me money voluntarily." Amina was arrested simultaneously at the apartment, attempting to destroy hard drives. They recovered encrypted cloud backups with records spanning 11 years of operations, hundreds of victims, millions in transactions. During interrogation, Amina negotiated a plea agreement. The operation was even more extensive. Karim was one of 12 men working for the syndicate. She provided training, target profiles, customized emotional manipulation strategies. "Basic psychology," Amina said coldly through the interrogation room glass. "Middle-aged Western women, divorced or widowed, successful but isolated. They want to be needed, to matter. We give them that narrative." Emma felt a fresh wave of nausea. They weren't just victims. They were studied, categorized, systematically exploited. Capitaine Ben Ali entered the observation room. "We've discovered connections to networks in Tunisia, Egypt, Turkey. Interpol has been notified. This will escalate internationally." "What about the other victims?" Isabel asked, her voice tight. "We're contacting them systematically. Many don't realize they've been deceived yet. Active ongoing cases." Ben Ali displayed the database. 103 women confirmed across 28 countries. The story detonated in the international press. "Romance scam ring defrauds millions," splashed across The Guardian. "Schwedish Anwältin entlarvt Betrugs Netzwerk," announced Der Spiegel. "L'arnaque à la mord Mantel," declared Le Monde. Emma woke up in Stockholm to her phone exploding. Television producers, journalists, even streaming services wanting rights to the story. Anna appeared at the apartment with coffee and newspapers. "You're famous, unfortunately famous," she said, spreading the pages across the table. "Look, there's a photograph of you at the police station in Marrakesh." Emma took the newspaper. Adjacent was a photo of Karim being escorted in handcuffs, still handsome but now with vacant, mechanical eyes. The caption read, "Master Manipulator faces 8-year sentence." "How are you managing?" Anna asked gently. "I don't know," Emma admitted. Part of me is furious. Another part is humiliated for being so naive. Michelle, the Canadian widow, suggested weekly video calls among the victims. They started with 6 women, expanded to 23 women from different countries, ages, professions, united by the same trauma. In the 4th session, a Spanish woman named Carmen shared, "I transferred money for his nephew's cancer treatment. Then I discovered the nephew doesn't exist. He used stock photos from a medical charity website." A Norwegian architect named Ingrid revealed, "I nearly sold my apartment for a joint business venture with him. My sister literally intercepted me at the notary's office." An Irish nurse named Fiona admitted, "I defended him to my adult children. They tried to warn me. I called them judgmental, accused them of racism. I haven't spoken to my daughter in 8 months because of him." The group became a sanctuary. They shared not just their losses but their recovery strategies, therapy recommendations, legal advice, how to rebuild trust in themselves and others. Emma returned to Marrakesh for the sentencing hearing. The courtroom was packed with victims. 14 women had traveled from around the world to be present. Karim and Amina sat at separate tables, not looking at each other. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence: financial records, recorded conversations, testimony from 31 victims. Karim's defense attorney argued for leniency, claiming his client had gambling debts and was coerced into the scheme. The judge was unmoved. "You systematically targeted vulnerable individuals," the judge stated in French, translated simultaneously. "You studied their psychological weaknesses and exploited them with precision. This was not desperation. This was predatory calculation." Karim, 8 years in prison, 500,000 euros in fines. Amina, 6 years in prison, 350,000 euros in fines. As the sentence was announced, Emma felt no satisfaction. Just exhaustion and a strange, hollow relief. Outside the courthouse, journalists swarmed. Emma gave a brief statement. "This isn't about revenge. It's about accountability. Romance fraud destroys lives, financially, emotionally, psychologically. We want other victims to know, the shame belongs to the perpetrators, not to us. Wanting love doesn't make you foolish. Exploiting that desire makes you criminal." Emma's apartment in Stockholm, once a symbol of loneliness, had become something different. The support group now had 47 members. They'd created a non-profit organization to raise awareness about romance fraud, providing resources and advocacy. Emma had written a book about her experience. The proceeds funded victim support services. On a crisp autumn evening, Anna visited with wine and takeout. "Netflix finalized the documentary," Anna said, pulling up the trailer on her phone. Emma watched herself on screen, speaking about vulnerability and resilience. Other victims shared their stories. The documentary didn't sensationalize, it humanized. "How does it feel?" Anna asked. "Turning your trauma into something public?" Emma considered carefully. "Liberating, actually. For so long, I carried shame. Like my intelligence, my success, my legal training should have protected me. But manipulation doesn't discriminate. It targets our humanity, our capacity for love, for trust, for hope." Her phone chimed with a notification from the support group. Jennifer from California had posted a photo of herself at a charity gala with a genuine partner she'd met through mutual friends. The comments overflowed with celebration and encouragement. "We're survivors," Emma typed, "and we refuse to let them steal our capacity for connection. That's the real victory." She posted it and gazed out at Stockholm's harbor, at the city lights reflecting on dark water. The desire for love hadn't made her foolish. The betrayal of that desire was the crime. And she had survived it. Not just survived. Transformed it into advocacy, into community, into proof that even profound betrayal couldn't destroy the human capacity for resilience. Emma raised her wine glass. "To second chances," she said. Anna clinked glasses with her. To second chances. And to never letting bastards win. They drank, and outside, the city continued its eternal rhythm, indifferent to individual heartbreak, but also full of infinite possibilities for those brave enough to keep hoping. David, the Brit who had denied everything, finally appeared on the video call, gaunt, visibly aged. "I need to forgive myself. That's the most difficult part," he said in a hoarse voice. Sarah, who had initially hung up on Emma, joined quietly. "I told my sister she was jealous when she tried to warn me. I haven't spoken to her in 7 months because I chose him over her. How do I come back from that?" Emma realized this wasn't just about Karim. It was about systemic loneliness, women who were professionally accomplished but emotionally isolated, vulnerable to any illusion of connection. Emma received an unexpected letter. Sender: Marrakesh Women's Correctional Facility. Amina El Mansouri. "I'm not reading this," she declared, throwing the envelope on Anna's coffee table. But curiosity consumed her. That evening, she opened it. "Emma, I don't expect forgiveness. But you deserve truth. I started at 17, a victim of forced marriage and domestic violence. Karim was my escape, then my partner in crime. I learned that vulnerability was currency. I weaponized against you what was weaponized against me. An endless cycle. Your investigation freed me from a worse prison, the one I constructed for myself. Strangely, thank you." Emma reread it 7 times. A final manipulation or genuine confession? She would never know. Anna convinced Emma to enter therapy. In the first session, Dr. Elizabeth Nystrom was direct. You were seeking salvation externally. You needed purpose. I had purpose. My career. Professionally, yes. Personally, emotionally. You outsourced your happiness. Months of therapy revealed patterns. Since her breakup, Emma had avoided authentic intimacy, preferring controllable fantasy. Karim offered exactly that. Transactional affection without the complexity of genuine relationship. He didn't just steal money, Dr. Nystrom said. He stole time, trust, dignity. Grief is essential. Emma cried for the first time in years. Emma launched a foundation, Karlek Uten Bedrag, Love Without Deception, an educational website, corporate lectures, counseling for victims. At the launch, she addressed an audience of 200 people. I lost 140,000 euros. Others lost more. One woman lost her retirement savings. Another lost custody of her children after borrowing from them to send money. But we all lost the same thing: faith in human connection. We're here to rebuild it with wisdom. Michelle came from Toronto. Isabel from Lyon. Jennifer from California. Together they transformed trauma into mission. Sarah took the stage, finally. We are not idiots. We are humans who desire love. Scammers exploit our best qualities, our capacity to trust, to care, to hope. Let's not allow them to destroy that. 14 months later, Emma was at a legal conference in Copenhagen when a woman approached during the break. She was Danish, Emma's age, with intelligent eyes and a cautious smile. "Excuse me. I attended your talk last spring. I'm Sophie. I was also a victim, different scam, same damage." They talked for 4 hours. Coffee became lunch. Lunch became a walk along the harbor. A real connection built on honest vulnerability, without illusions. As they exchanged numbers, Sophie asked, "Could we see each other again?" Slowly. Without expectations, Emma smiled, her first genuine smile in months. "I'd like that. This time, we start with truth." Sophie made coffee in Emma's Stockholm apartment while Emma reviewed emails from the foundation. Their relationship had developed organically. No rash commitments, no fantasies, just authentic presence. Something arrived from Morocco, Sophie called, holding an official envelope. Karim and Amina's final sentencing had concluded. Karim, 8 years. Amina, 6 years. More significantly, through collective restitution to identified victims, they would recover approximately 25% of stolen funds. It was a crucial symbolic victory. "It's finished," Emma murmured. "No," Sophie corrected, embracing her from behind. "It's transformed into something new." Emma never expected to see Amina again, but an invitation arrived through her attorney, a request for a restorative justice meeting, a pilot program in the Moroccan prison system for nonviolent crimes. "You don't have to go," Anna advised over the phone. "You owe her nothing." But Emma needed to. Not for Amina, for herself. Final closure. She flew to Marrakesh for the 6th time. The irony wasn't lost on her. Inside the prison, the meeting room was austere. Metal table, hard chairs, guard at the door. Amina entered wearing a standard prison uniform, her hair covered, no makeup. She looked a decade older, but there was a clarity in her expression that Emma had never witnessed before. "Thank you for coming," she said in halting Swedish. She'd been learning it in prison. They sat in uncomfortable silence. Finally, Emma spoke. "Why did you want to see me?" "The program requires me to confront the harm I caused. The psychologist said you were different. The first who truly investigated, who fought back. Others just vanished, ashamed. It wasn't courage. It was survival instinct." Amina nodded slowly. "I understand now that every woman had a real life, family, dreams. I didn't see that. I only saw numbers, quotas. I dehumanized you just as I was dehumanized in my marriage. Does that justify it? Never. But it explains it." She looked at her hands. "Karim is in the men's facility. He filed for divorce. 9 years together. It was entirely business. There was never love, just criminal partnership." Emma felt something unexpected. Not forgiveness, but understanding. They had both been imprisoned in different ways. "I want to do something," Amina continued. "Give talks, warn young Moroccan women about exploitation, how criminal networks recruit. I know from inside. I can prevent others from becoming me. Redemption. Attempting to. I know it will never erase what I did, but perhaps it will balance the equation minimally." Emma considered carefully. "My foundation could use testimony from both perspectives, victim and perpetrator. When you're released, if you've genuinely transformed, there's space." Tears streamed down Amina's face, the first authentic emotion Emma had seen. "Why would you help me?" "I'm not helping you. I'm helping the next potential victims. And I'm breaking the cycle, the wounded wounding others endlessly. Someone has to stop it." Leaving the prison, Emma paused at the gate, looking back. That building contained the woman who had nearly destroyed her life but paradoxically freed her from the emotional isolation she had built for herself. Rashid, the investigator, waited with the car. "How did it go?" "Necessary," Emma replied. "Finally necessary. Auditorium in Brussels, EU Conference on Digital Fraud. Emma on stage. Beside her via video conference from prison, Amina. She will demonstrate how scammers think, recruit, execute," Emma introduced. "Not to glorify, but to educate." Amina, now fluent in Swedish and English, described methodically emotional algorithms, vulnerable profiles, psychological triggers. The audience listened, fascinated and horrified. After the lecture, an elderly woman approached Emma. "I almost fell for a similar scam. Your story saved me." "Thank you." Sophie, now Emma's wife, watched proudly. "That night in their hotel room," she asked, "did you forgive her?" Emma thought carefully. "I didn't forgive what she did. I forgave myself for experiencing it. And I recognized her humanity, flawed, damaged, but human like all of us. That's wise. Not wisdom, survival." Carrying hatred forever would be a prison Amina could never give me. I freed myself. Emma was in a completely different place, not just geographically, but emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. She had lost 140,000 euros and 5 trips to Morocco. She gained self-awareness, purpose, genuine love.